Introduction: The Enduring Legacy of Rome, written by Mary Beard, SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome. Rome. The very name conjures images of gladiators, emperors, and a sprawling empire that stretched across much of the known world. But how did a small city-state in central Italy rise to such prominence? And what ultimately led to its dramatic fall? This essay delves into the captivating history of the Roman Empire, exploring its remarkable ascent and ultimate decline. From its humble beginnings to its position as a dominant world power, the story of Rome offers valuable lessons about power, ambition, and the cyclical nature of civilizations. From humble beginnings, the legend of Romulus and Remus. Our journey begins in the 8th century BC with the legendary founding of Rome. This was a time of myth and legend where the lines between history and storytelling often blurred. According to tradition, the city was founded in 753 BC by the twin brothers Romulus and Remus. These brothers were said to be the sons of Mars, the god of war, and Rhea Silvia, a Vestal virgin. Abandoned as infants and raised by a she-wolf, the twins decided to build a city. This she-wolf, known as Lupa, became a symbol of Rome's strength and resilience. A dispute arose over the location and leadership of the new city, and Romulus killed Remus, becoming the first king of Rome. This act of fratricide marked the beginning of Rome's complex and often violent history. While this tale is likely more myth than history, it reflects the Romans' own understanding of their origins, a city born from conflict and ambition. The story of Romulus and Remus encapsulates the spirit of Rome, a city destined for greatness. The early Romans were a practical people focused on survival and expansion. They built their society on the principles of discipline, order, and military prowess. They were skilled warriors and strategists, gradually conquering their neighbors and expanding their territory. Their military innovations and tactics became legendary, setting the stage for the vast Roman Empire. This period saw the establishment of Roman law and governance, laying the foundation for their future empire. The early legal codes and political structures they developed would influence countless civilizations to come, cementing Rome's legacy as a cradle of Western civilization. The Roman Republic, power to the people, sort of. Around 509 BC, the Romans overthrew their last king, Tarquin the Proud, and established a republic. This marked a significant shift in Roman governance. Instead of a king, power theoretically rested with the people, represented by the Senate and various assemblies. However, in practice, power remained concentrated in the hands of the wealthy patrician class. This period was marked by both internal strife and external expansion. The Romans faced challenges from within, including conflicts between the patricians and the plebeians, the common people. Externally, the Romans engaged in a series of wars, gradually conquering the Italian peninsula and beyond. The rise of the Caesars, from republic to empire. This transformation was a pivotal moment in history, reshaping the political landscape of Rome forever. By the 1st century BC, the Roman Republic, though vast and powerful, was facing internal crisis. The once stable and democratic system was crumbling under the weight of corruption, economic disparity, and political infighting. Ambitious generals seeking personal power began to challenge the authority of the Senate. These military leaders, with their loyal legions, saw an opportunity to seize control and reshape Rome according to their own visions. This led to a series of civil wars, culminating in the rise of Julius Caesar. His military prowess and strategic brilliance allowed him to outmaneuver his rivals and gain the upper hand in the power struggle. Caesar, a brilliant general and politician, seized power in 49 BC. His ascent was marked by a combination of military victories and political acumen, which endeared him to the Roman populace. He implemented significant reforms, centralizing power and weakening the Senate. These changes included land redistribution, debt relief, and the reorganization of the calendar, which had lasting impacts on Roman society. However, his reign was short-lived. Despite his popularity among the people, his concentration of power alarmed many in the Senate. In 44 BC, he was assassinated by a group of senators who feared his growing power. This act of betrayal was intended to restore the Republic, but it only led to further chaos. Caesar's death plunged Rome back into civil war. The power vacuum left by his assassination created a fierce struggle for control, with various factions vying for dominance. His adopted son, Octavian, eventually emerged victorious, defeating Mark Antony and Cleopatra in 31 BC. This decisive battle at Actium marked the end of the civil wars and the consolidation of power under Octavian. Octavian, later known as Augustus, became the first Roman emperor, marking the end of the Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire. His reign ushered in a period of relative peace and stability known as the Pax Romana, which allowed Rome to flourish and expand its influence across the known world. At the zenith, Roman power and prosperity. The Roman Empire reached its peak under the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and prosperity that lasted for over 2 centuries. During this time, the empire expanded to its greatest extent, encompassing much of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Roman engineering and innovation flourished. They built impressive roads, aqueducts, and public buildings, many of which still stand today. Roman law and governance provided a framework for a stable and prosperous society. Roman culture, influenced by the Greeks, spread throughout the empire, leaving an indelible mark on art, literature, and philosophy. Cracks in the facade, the seeds of decline. Despite its outward appearance of strength, the Roman Empire by the 3rd century AD was facing serious challenges. Internal strife, economic problems, and external pressures began to weaken the empire from within. One major issue was the growing gap between the rich and the poor. The empire's wealth was concentrated in the hands of a small elite, while the majority of the population struggled to make ends meet. This led to social unrest and instability. Another problem was the increasing cost of maintaining the empire's vast army and bureaucracy. The constant need for expansion to acquire new resources and slaves put a strain on the empire's finances. The fall of an empire, a multitude of pressures. By the 4th and 5th centuries AD, the Roman Empire was in terminal decline, a shadow of its former glory. A combination of factors, both internal and external, contributed to its downfall, creating a perfect storm of challenges. One major factor was the constant pressure from barbarian tribes along the empire's borders, which were increasingly difficult to defend. These tribes, pushed westward by the Huns from Central Asia, exerted increasing pressure on the empire's defenses, leading to frequent and costly skirmishes. Adding to the turmoil, the empire was plagued by internal divisions and civil wars, which drained resources and morale. Ambitious generals vied for power, weakening the empire further and making it vulnerable to external threats. These power struggles often led to short-lived and unstable leadership. In 476 AD, the last Roman emperor in the West, Romulus Augustus, was deposed by a barbarian general named Odoacer, marking a significant turning point in history. This event is traditionally seen as marking the fall of the Western Roman Empire, a once unthinkable collapse of a civilization that had dominated for centuries. The Eastern Roman Empire, centered in Constantinople, continued for another 1,000 years, preserving much of Roman culture and knowledge. However, the once mighty Roman Empire in the West had crumbled, leaving a legacy that would shape the future of Europe for centuries to come. Conclusion: the echoes of Rome. The Roman Empire, like all empires, rose, reached its zenith, and eventually fell. Its story is a cautionary tale about the transient nature of power and the importance of adaptability. Yet, despite its fall, the legacy of Rome continues to resonate today. Roman law, engineering, language, and culture have left an indelible mark on Western civilization. From our legal systems to our architecture, from our languages to our literature, the echoes of Rome can be seen and felt throughout the world. The rise and fall of the Roman Empire is not simply a historical event, it is a story that continues to fascinate and instruct us, reminding us of the complexities of civilization and the enduring power of the past.